Hello, buddy. Today we have Angelica with us. She helps leaders and top performers find more clarity, purpose, and balance in all aspects of life. Let's get to know a bit more about Angelica from her, and then we'll take it from there. Before we begin, I would like to welcome Angelica to our channel and thank her very much for taking the time and speaking with us. Thank you so much, Angelica, and over to you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here today and to talk a little bit more about myself. Usually, I'm the one asking the questions, so this is always interesting. But I'm from Sweden. I am born and raised here and still live in Sweden, even if I have plans on uh, move overseas. But I grew up in Sweden around horses with my family on a farm. I have a younger brother, and we have been very close our whole childhood. I also have two half siblings that have been with us every second week, and I've seen the difference how it is when you live with someone full time and when you just meet someone every second week. My parents still lives together. We are still living on a family farm, where I also have both dogs and horses. And I can say that I'm very close to my family. I still am, and I'm happy to say that. Even when I'm now are 36 years old, I still talk to my father almost every day. I will still take my mother with me to the stable and ask her to help me when I ride my horse. So that's something that I'm very happy about because that's not what everyone have. Because a lot of people, when they grow up, say that family, we put them aside and we have only our friends now. But I'm happy to say that my childhood have made me want to have my family close. And I also have a son. He's now 16. And I'm so grateful for the relationship that he has with my parents. And I can also see now when I'm a parent myself that I was not an easy child, even if I was the golden child that did everything correctly in school. And but it isn't easy to be parents. And so the problems that you see when you are a kid, the things that you want to complain about, that's the thing that I'm now happy that my parents did for me. So that's a little bit about myself. Um, I, uh, I didn't. I like to perform even as a child, and that's where I evolve from, because I've always been a high performer, both in the stable and in school, and that is also something that I brought with me into my working life. Um, yeah.
Yeah, Angelica, so on your website also, I had noticed that you are working with horses. So when you're speaking right now, I came to know that your connection with the horses is very deep. So has this working with horses helped you in your coaching journey, Angelica?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest lesson is that you can't fake alignment. Uh, the horse, you can't pretend that you're happy if you're not happy. You can't say that and then be something else. You need to be um, at you need to be yourself when you are in the stable. You need, when you work with an animal doesn't understand you when you say something when you mean something else. You need to be correct in how you behave, because they just see your behavior. They see how you move, how you raise your voice, and all of that. You need to be so clear in your communication. Need to be so concrete about what you want them to do. And the thing that I take with me from the stable into leadership is that you can't say one thing and then do something else. Because if you ask a horse to do something and then you are angry at the horse because it didn't do what you thought you wanted them to do. So that's something I take with me to leadership. Because if I tell my team to perform something, then I can't be angry at them that they didn't do what I thought if that wasn't what I told them. because they can't read my thoughts. Horses is almost better to read thoughts than people are, but you need to look yourself in the mirror, because you can't go out from a competition being angry at the horse because the horse did what you asked them for. And that's the same thing in the team. And they don't care about titles. They don't care about your income. They don't care about how your day were at your work. They can't do anything about if you woke up in a bad mood. But you will see in the horse if you continue to have a bad mood there. So you need to look at yourself. You need to look yourself in the mirror, because the horse become a mirror. And that's the same thing when you work in a team. And I think that the fact that I worked with young horses and with kids around horses when I was young myself, I came into coaching very early, because you can't, just because I had the knowledge doesn't mean that people around me have that. So that's the thing that I take with me into coaching, that I want to know what it is that you want. You're not supposed to do everything that I tell you to. I need to ask my question as the same way that I ask question to my horse. And to be able to understand the horse and to understand a human being, you need to listen. So that's some of the things that I take with me. And I will say the discipline is one big thing, because I've had horses since a very, very young age. And the horses need to go out, even if it is 30 minus outside. They need to go out in the rain. I need to fix the stable when it's sunny, when my friends go to the beach instead. So you have that discipline in you, that you need to do things even the days when you don't want to. But that builds character, I would say.
Yeah, from the thing that you just spoke about, discipline and the being focused in activities and all that, there's a lot of things that human beings can learn from horses, because many things we don't follow. We say something, we mean something, and we do something else entirely only.
Yeah. And I think just because I've been around, animals my whole life, I can see the difference in people when they are around kids. Also, also when I have one memory when I was around 18, I think I was in a restaurant with my family and my boyfriend's family and their kids, and so it wasn't the closest to me, it was my boyfriend's family. And when they tell their kid the third time, if you jump in that water pool, we will go home, and the kid jump in the water and they don't go home, and I just thought, don't they understand that the kid wants to go home? And you just told them, if you jump in the water, we will go home. He didn't want to be wet. He jumped in the water because he saw that as a solution to go home. So they do actually listen to you. And then you can't be angry at them, because they just needed to get that attention. They wanted to get that attention. And that's the same thing with horses and with dogs. And it is hard that I'm sitting here comparing human with animals,
Yeah,
but you need to be clear in your communication. Don't say no if it isn't a no, because every time you stretch that, if you say no this time and then they do it anyway, and that's the same thing when you work in a team, the same thing when you communicate with yourself. If you give yourself a promise and you break that, it is easier to break it next time, because you don't trust your own words anymore. And that's the same with your surroundings, because if you say that you're supposed to do something and you don't do it, why are the people around you supposed to do what you ask them? And that's the thing that I work with now in my coaching. It's the self-leadership, because I want to work with leaders, because I want them to create an environment that make their people grow. And to be able to become a good leader, you need to start by leading yourself first. And that's the thing that I work with too. I have a lot of problems that I work with in myself, but I need to be more open with that, because that builds trust. Because if I go out there and pretend to be a perfect human being, that I never do anything wrong. That's me putting up a facade, and that's hard for people to trust me then. So even if it feels vulnerable to go out there and speak on Instagram or on LinkedIn and say that I'm not perfect, because the only thing that I wanted growing up is to become perfect. And that have held me back many times. And that's the same thing that I see in many high performers and high achievers, that the people that I think should be out there talking, they are quiet. And you have people that you wonder, why are their voice getting heard? Because they don't know anything. And that's because they don't have that. They have the self-esteem, feeling that they are great at everything, and the high performer question themselves because they know that there is more knowledge out there. So they are just supposed to wait. And that's the voice that I want to be, the person that lifts you. I see your potential, so I will push you in the direction that you actually do those things and create that greatness.
Angelica, I read one of your posts that there was a point when work took over and you were missing time with your son. Can you please tell us what did that season teach you about success and sacrifice?
I would say that I have had my work as a hiding space because I knew that I was great at what I did. And when I felt like a failure at home, when I had bad time in a relationship, or when I felt that I just need to do this because when I have done this, then I have more time at home. But I always just found new things to do. And I had a time in life where I was so grateful that I had my parents that spent a lot of time with my son. But the realization was one time when I was at home and my son told me that he could sleep at his grandparents' place because you will probably not be home when I wake up tomorrow anyway. And my response for that was to let my son go up to my parents. And I left home and I went back to work. And then I realized that I can't continue like this. I just looked back and saw where I had my walks in the forest with my son, when I was out on a picnic a Thursday evening, all those things that I had stopped doing because I was at work performing instead. And I said, I am very good at telling my team to leave work at work and go home and spend time with their families, but I'm not doing it. And then that starts to make me question what is success, because I want to create those results at work, but on what expenses? I still want to have my family. I still want to see my son grow up. And that's when I took the decision that I will never again be at a point in life where work becomes my life. And I can say that that was something I told myself 8 years ago. It took me 5 more years to actually go out and do that, because I left that employment that I had. But it is hard to change your patterns. But the things that I see now is when I have a goal that creates the life that I want, and not just in the future. It is something that I'm building daily. And I see things that I do that I want my son to be proud of. And I want me to be proud of, because I see my son grow through my own work with myself. And that's also my mission with my business today, because even if I am a high performer and I like to work with high performers, and the things that you have heard before, that you need to do either one of it. Either you need to be good at work or you're a good parent. I want you to be able to do both.
Angelica, coming to your venture by the name of Evolve, what happened in your life that made you decide that something needed to change and this had to come into being? Evolve.
I would say that when I sat down and reflected over how long have I wanted to build my own business, how long have I wanted to make this change? And I realized, because I was very close to burnout, and if I had spoken with a doctor, they would say that I would have had that diagnosis of a burnout, but I was never sick in that way. I just continued to work. I said, I can't continue like I'm doing right now because I know what it is that I want to do, but I can't continue to say that this is something I do in the future because I don't know if I have a future if I continue this way. And that's when I decided to go take one more course because I felt like I need that. I need something on a paper to tell me that I'm good at what I do. And that's when I fixed my ICF credentials from International Coaching Federation. And when I went through that course, I realized that this is exactly what I have been working on and how I have been working. So that was a nice thing to realize, but it can also be pretty rough because I felt like I could have done this so much earlier, but I can't change the past. I can only change the future, and everything I do today brings me closer to the life that I want to build. And the thing that I see now that is differently from 5 years ago is that I am happy on this journey. Uh, because I like the thing I'm building now. I haven't reached my goals yet, but I'm on that way. So that's one goal reached. Anyway, also that's still something that I have succeeded on, and that's the fact that I've started a journey and now realize that you need to start to become better.
So, Angelica, is there one thing that you see differently about success or leadership today than you would have a couple of years ago?
When I first started my leadership journey, I wanted to be the person that was best at everything. And now, when I look back and look at that, I say that that's not the description of a good leader. A good leader are the person that are the best one to lift their team, that see the strength in all the people that you have around you and lift them, because that's what leadership is. I don't need to be an expert on everything that you do in your business. I need to be the one that lifts other people to make it possible for them to perform, because I like to see other people succeed, and I like to see other people's strength, and I like to be the one to make them see their own strengths too. So that's the biggest thing. I don't need to be the expert on everything that we are working around. I need to be the expert of helping my people to perform at their best ability.
Yeah, actually, that's a great way of seeing it, Angelica. That's perfect, in fact.
Yeah, I saw a post on Instagram a couple of days ago where they described a unicorn leader, and it was 7 points where they talked about: is it a person that asks for help?
Yeah.
Is it a person that always need to be? You don't need to be the first one who speaks in a meeting. You can ask your team members, "What do you think?" because you actually want to hear their opinions. And I don't remember the full list, but I become so happy when I read through it, where I felt like I can check on all of those boxes because I want my team to grow. I want them to succeed. I want, if I'm working with someone that don't see their next step in our company, then I would like to help them to find that next step that they have. Because then I can still see that I was a part of their journey to become the person they want to be, to get that job that they want to have. Because even if I want to work with the best, I still want them to want to be there. Because I have an example from that when I worked in a store, and one of my best people in that store, he didn't want to work in sales. I said, "What do you want to do?" And I helped him find a different job. And my boss that I had at the time, he also said that I was an idiot letting him go. And I said, "But I don't want to have someone working in my team who doesn't want to be there." because I want to fill my team with people that want to have the role that they have. And even if they want to grow and get to the next step, I still want to be there on their journey. And to know that I can get a message a couple of years after stop working with someone and get a message where they thank me for pushing them to take that step to actually try that thing. That's what I live for. And that's why I went into building my own coaching business, because now I choose which people that I work with, because I have that as a thing. I only work with people that I truly believe in, because it's much easier for me to make them believe in themselves if I actually do that. Because when I worked in sale, I always told my people that you're not never allowed to lie for your customers. And that's the same thing for me with coaching. I can't sit here and push you to create something if I don't believe in you. And I think that's the big difference between coaches and coaches, the people that only take in because they just want the money. It doesn't matter how many people there is in my group coaching program. I just want to say that I have sold this to 50 people or to 100 people. But every time I have 50 people in a group coaching session, is only one person that succeed. I don't want that. Then now I am focusing on one-to-one coaching because I want to choose who to work with, because I want to see them succeed. Absolutely, I have a goal to create my group coaching business in the future, because I would like to be able to help more people. But then I need to be more established out on the market, so people contact me because they want to work and do the things that I do. And then it would be easier for me to fill my programs with the right people.
Actually, it's great, great. It's great of doing it. Yeah. So, Angelica, so let's assume that there's someone watching this video and that person thinks that, hey, I believe that I'm doing well in life, but some part of me is feeling burnt out. What do you think that person can do? What do you suggest person to do?
First of all, I would ask them, what is it that bring you happiness in life? What is it that bring in energy? Because I see, and that's a sign in myself, that every time I feel like I do not have the energy to do the things that makes me happy, that's my sign that I need to stop, that I need to take a pause, reflect, and say that now is the time that I actually need to do this. Because if I continue to push away the things that make me happy, then the trap to the road for burnout become very clear. It's very open, wide, if you stop doing the things that make you happy. So that's the first thing I would tell someone, that do more of the things that make you happy. If it is things that you then have no energy to do, that's the thing you push away, because you need to schedule things that you look forward to. I had a colleague before who said that I don't have anything to look forward to. But no, but then you need to put in small things. You don't need to say that you need to book a trip in 6 months. Also, what is it that you will do next week? If it is just a bike ride with your wife, or if it is a dinner with your daughter, or just do something that you look forward to, because you see the energy that builds up in someone when they actually have those small things to look forward to. And yeah, it is important to stop and reflect over your life before you hit that wall, because it's so much harder to actually rise up from that again. It is possible, it absolutely is, but you will have an easier life if you stop yourself before you get the diagnosis of a burnout.
So, Angelica, if you have, say, let's assume that you're noticing that in some aspect of your life, pressure is building. So, what do you do to stay grounded?
I am so privileged having friends and colleagues that I can have communications with, because either when I feel down, where I feel like, why am I doing this? I know that I can just go in and send a voice message to someone and get that answer back that lifts me. And the fact that I know how that affects me, it is also easier for me to do that for others. So you're supposed to celebrate other people's wins, because a person who can't celebrate someone else, they are not secure enough in themselves. I see that more as a receipt on what you need to work with yourself if you can't lift others. I love it when my colleagues that also are leadership coaches, when they get new clients, when they get good testimonials. I would never compete with them. Absolutely, I can compete with them. That you and I, we decided both of us that we're supposed to post 3 times a day. I posted my 3 videos before you, so it's time for you to step up. But that's a friendly competition. But I would never go and talk ill about a colleague. I would never go and talk ill about my friends. I am truly happy when they succeed because I know that they are happy for me. And if you have people around you that don't lift you up, then that's relationships that needs to end, because it isn't supposed to be one-sided. And if you have someone in your life that you actually cost you a lot of energy to be around, you are an adult and it is your life and you're not supposed to live on their terms. You are still responsible for your actions and you're responsible for your reactions. So it isn't that person who brings me down. It is something in me that doesn't feel good around them. And then that's my responsibility to end that.
So, Angelica, if Evolve had one message for the world, what would it be?
If there is something in your heart that you want to do, stop, wait for permission. Just do it. Just go out there and do it. The biggest failure isn't trying and fail. The biggest fail is to never try at all.
So apart from the other things that we have discussed, Angelica, is there something else that you would like to tell our viewers today?
It go back to, don't spend your life preparing to live it. Start living it now, because you never know what happens tomorrow. Do the things every day that brings life and joy into your environment, and be the person for others that you want them to be for you. And don't be afraid of asking for help. Me as a coach also works with a coach, and I coach other coaches. You don't need to be stuck in, I'm the leader, I need to have all those answers. There is people out there that are much smarter than me, and for me to expand my knowledge and expand my way of living, I need to surround myself with people that lives the life that I want to have. And that's also one thing. Don't take advice from people that haven't done the journey, because it's so easy that we get stuck in a negative spiral with people that haven't succeeded. Because if you have an idea that you want to do in your life, don't talk with the people that don't have any ambition to change anything in their own. So talk with the people that have already done the journey, and they can bring you forward, help you forward.
So, coming to our last question, Angelica, what would you like to tell your younger self, Angelica?
You have made it. You're on the journey that you always wanted to be on. And you will go through hell, but you're strong enough and you went through it and you have solved all the problems that have stood in front of you. And you are now happy moving forward.
Thank you so much, Angelica, for sharing all this valuable knowledge and information with us. We wish you continuous success in all aspects of your life. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video, and have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, Angelica.